welcome back to our channel, Sugar, Spice, and Everything Nice. Thank you guys so much for hanging around, for listening to our rants, our topics, our weird shit. We love the feedback, both positive and negative. This is a community for us to talk and thrive. It's a safe space. Tell us, we tell you. Let's share, let's grow, let's learn. We're all about that. So today our topic is actually quite a sensitive topic. It's slut shaming. So before we go ahead, I think it's very important that I define what slut shaming is, so that we are not confused about what we are talking about here. Now, slut shaming is essentially when a woman is in an unfortunate situation, mostly sexual assault, rape, etc., and instead of society being like, that was really messed up of the man, it's always like, what was she wearing? Was she flirting with him? Was she drunk? Why was she talking to a guy she doesn't even really know, etc.? And for me, I was the one who forced us to do this topic, but I think it's a very sensitive and it's a very also essential topic, because I think a lot of us women at one point or the other have been in a situation which is not necessarily like outright sexual harassment or rape, even street harassment. And I know you have an actual example of like being harassed on Imatatu.
I was wearing like a top that has cleavage, which if I wear a top like that, I'm wearing it because I want to wear it. I'm not wearing it for you to look at. Okay, anyway. So this dude, he was seated next to me. So the whole time he kept like elbowing my boob. I don't know. As in, that's so stupid. So and then he was laughing. Like he was laughing by himself at how annoyed I was, because I was so uncomfortable and I kept moving. And then he just kept like, elbowing me, and then he's like laughing and giggling, and then I think I just wasn't in the mood to like confront him or like pick a fight, so I was like, whatever.
And you told your babe at the time, and he asked you a question.
I was dating someone at the time, so I was like, oh babe, I'm so mad. I was in a matatu and then this guy kept doing this to me. It's so annoying. And he was like, what were you wearing? And that pissed me off, because even if I'm wearing something with
if I'm naked,
my boobs, it's on my body. There's nowhere that it says that you have the right to touch me or the right to like do anything to my body. You have your body, do what you want to do with yours, but leave mine out of it.
It's so sad when somebody tells you, for example, the way women are raped, and then the rapist says it's your fault. You're wearing a mini skirt, or you're wearing what?
And I felt like you were calling out to me. You were flirting with me. You wanted it.
Some disgust. Some nerve. You have some nerve.
And I think what I find so disturbing is the entire world, like society, always responds that way. Forget even the rapist guy. Like even your mom will be like, I told you not to be wearing this kind of dress. I told you not to be flirting with boys. I told you not to be. And I'm just like, consent, guys. The definition, consent is everything.
Something has to change, guys. I think a lot of it has to do with our society, our societal norms and how we were raised. And it's quite sad that we grew up being told if you wear a certain outfit, men will start heckling at you, and that might open a door for you to get raped, or might open a door for you to something bad happen to you, get drugged or something. It is quite sad, I must say. And we talked about this in our last video. Diwani mentioned a little bit of it. Maybe you can talk a bit about the way the society has made women look like the victims always. And that mindset, that needs to change,
I mean, I think so. Yesterday I was telling Tabby today that yesterday I was really upset because I read this news article that came out about this 8-year-old girl in India who was gang raped by officials, and then her head was smashed, so she was killed afterwards. Now, this is something that's like a thing in India. It's also something that's a thing in South Africa. I mean, it's a thing in the world. It's a thing. And it reminded me, I mean, first of all, I actually like shed a tear after I read that, because can an 8-year-old even, you know, the worst thing, the worst thing an 8-year-old, probably if you ask them, what's the worst thing that can happen to you now? Oh, I will lose my favorite toy. That's how far their mind can go. But women's bodies, they've been so sexualized that even female babies and children are sexualized. Like a kid who knows nothing is being sexualized. So I think it makes me wonder why. I mean, and then women who wear hijabs are raped. Women who wear saris are raped. You know, who wear long sleeves and long jeans. So it makes me so frustrated when we slut shame and then we make it about what you were wearing or you were drinking, because clearly it has absolutely nothing to do with that. Clearly there is a stain in society, and there's a certain way men are raised to perceive women, like we're objects of pleasure, such that when you see a woman or you see even a girl, you think she is like an object of pleasure that you have rights to, a right to access. Like, you know, like the guy on the Matatu, he felt it was his right to elbow her boob, and he thought it was even hilarious while he was doing it. The fact that men feel like society raises men to feel they have a right to a woman's body, it has nothing to do. And then we shame the victims. What are you going to say, the 8-year-old girl? Please tell me, what did that 8-year-old girl do that made her, that was shouting, please come and rape?
When we go to court, what does the judge say? I mean, what does the victim say? Oh, I was on drugs, I wasn't in my sound mind, so blame it on the alcohol. What the fuck?
Oh my god,
I feel like I do not curse, but I had to curse on this one because I'm so pissed, guys. Like, you're blaming it on alcohol and drugs, like,
which are just symptoms.
What is that?
They're symptoms. Like,
and I don't understand how we also live in a society where you can get away with such a crime by just saying you are under the influence of drugs. And the judge goes like, okay, cool, you're good.
I feel like what I would want to change, like what I would want this conversation to hopefully change, is how men perceive this conversation. Because a lot of, I'm not just saying men, even there are also women, just generally people, when someone opens up about rape or sexual assault, our first thing is, what were you wearing? Were you drunk? Why did you go to his house? Why were you out so late? And that really just annoys me, because first of all, rape can fuck, okay, I really don't want to curse, but it can really fuck with your mind. It really can. Like, you can fall into depression. Like, rape is something so big, yet we take it so lightly, and then we blame the victim. We make it look, instead of actually sympathizing with the victim and asking. So what I would want from men, if your girlfriend or your sister or whoever, your friend, just any female, opens up about their experience with sexual assault and rape, your first thing the first thing for you to say shouldn't be, what did you do, or what did
and Cheryl, let me cut you short. It's not just men. Even women, even mothers, even sisters, even your friends. This needs to stop. You cannot have an excuse as to why someone was raped. There's no excuse.
Honestly. So I feel like this conversation needs to change. So when someone opens up to you, ask them how they are doing. How are you? Did you seek treatment? how is your mental health? How is your physical health? Don't ask me what I was wearing or what was I drinking. What time of the night? What time was it? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? There's nowhere in my forehead is it written, come rape me please. Nowhere. Okay, so even
absolutely
so for you blaming the victim, you just make it worse for them, because it also takes a lot from us to even just like open up and say I went through this. It takes a lot, because as Africans we usually don't want to be pitied. We are raised to feel like we're strong.
Maybe something else we should talk about also is men rape. That maybe we because men are raped in society today, and it is quite sad that men cannot come out because and this brings us back to the conversation we had about on feminism, where we say men cannot cry or cannot be vulnerable because the society expects them to behave to be hardcore, right? So I think it is quite sad, and I'd like to see more men becoming confident and coming out and saying, you know what guys, I was raped,
I was assaulted,
and it's okay. I want to encourage men that it's okay to come out and say this. And women, don't dare open your mouth and say but that guy is so weak, who goes and says he's been raped.
For me, what I want when it comes to rape culture and slut shaming, especially when it comes to women, because men completely go through this, and God forbid I would never negate or try to make that disappear or be like it's not a thing. It is a thing, but to a much larger extent women go through this, and I feel it's because of the way they're perceived. Because also when you do slut shaming and you say, oh, it's what you were wearing or drinking, what you're doing is putting power in the hands of the perpetrator to be like, I raped her because she was wearing a v-neck top. So there's very little, incentive for him to think and be like, you know what, that was fucked up. Like, I should never have done that, under any circumstance, unless she explicitly said, I want to have sex with you right now and I am going to enjoy it and we are both agreeing to it.
Yeah, and rape can also happen in marriage, guys.
Yes.
I want to do a 360. It can happen to men. It can happen in marriage. It can happen to women. It can happen to kids. So you're don't think you're left out. What is rape? When somebody tries to force themselves on you sexually
without your permission,
in any way, that is rape. That is rape, guys. And you could be married and your husband or your wife came in. Actually, it could be even the wife.
It would be anyone.
And you force that man to have, you force him to have sex, or the man forces me to have sex. That is rape. So I need us to be more open-minded. And because some of us are very close-minded when it comes to these things.
Very narrow-minded.
Rape for who? For what? What's this? I mean, we need to be more open-minded and honestly see that this is a problem in our society, and we need to change our mindsets. We need to change our thinking. We need to stop this. We need to stop the blame game, and we need to do better, guys. And this starts at home. I say charity starts at home. Parents, from telling your children things like, don't wear this outfit because men are going to heckle at you in the streets and you might end up getting raped. Such conversations, can we stop being ignorant as parents and become more responsible and take our role more seriously? And let's start having conversations like, you will not be raped by a man because of what you wear, and
it's not your fault. And
actually start telling your kids what to even do when these things happen. Because I'm sorry guys, as much as we as parents, I'm not a parent, but as much as you don't want to tell your kids the truth, you will. I mean, this is what is happening. What happens to your little girl when she's raped? Can we start having these conversations more at home? What happens to your little son when he's raped by the house help? Because these things are happening. And let's become open. Let's create a culture where we tell our children are more open with us. Our sisters and brothers, our friends are more open with us. They can come and talk to us about these situations and not feel bashed.
Like Tabby said, charity starts at home. So for those of us who have kids, I don't have kids, but I feel like we need to teach our sons, our brothers, our fathers, the men in our lives. We need to teach them that women's bodies do not belong to you. That's the first thing. We need to teach them that just because she's a woman and you're a man, it doesn't automatically mean that you have power over her body. That's the first thing. The second thing I would want is for the conversation to change. So when someone opens up to you, like I said before, don't blame them. Ask them how they are instead,
and how to help. And I think we've said everything there is to say on this topic. Charity begins at home. Please, let's have more open conversations about the realities of our world. Let us stop treating women, children, anyone like they're sexual objects to be claimed and enjoyed at your convenience, you know, and let's just let everyone be happy, be themselves, be free, do what they want to do for themselves without the fear of being judged or their rights or privacy being infringed upon. So, I mean, we'd love to hear what you guys think about this conversation. You know, drop something in the comments for us. And as usual, let us know the kind of topics you would want us to talk about for future videos. We hope this resonated with you and that everyone learned something today. Yeah. So, thanks so much, guys. See you next Wednesday. Bye.